Pisces, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 30th through December 6th. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology. So if you're new to this channel or this type of astrology, do check the description down below. All right, Pisces, so we're coming into December. It's going to be very transformative this month, but really not until this weekend when we have Mars starting to square up to Pluto, joining that T-square with Uranus. But there's some nice aspects happening this week leading up to that. We've got Mercury trining up to Uranus, Mercury squaring up to Jupiter. But perhaps most importantly is that Saturn squaring up to Neptune starts to lift. That veil starts to lift up. And I think we'll feel that incrementally as the week unfolds. And if you look at the transit graph here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. On Monday, the sun eases up off of that Saturn, eases up off that square up to Neptune, and then by Saturday, it's really by Friday, Saturday, Saturn gets within or outside of that 1 degree orb with that square up to Neptune. So the veil lifting, perhaps more clarity, less uncertainty, less doubt in terms of what we're building in our life. For you specifically around your life path. You know, you've had Saturn in your 9th house of life path, of everything that's adventurous in your life, and building solid foundations with your philosophy, building solid foundations with, your life outlook, your view of life, spirituality even, or anything philosophical in nature. So through this sort of learning about life, whether it's through university or whatever, you are grounding yourself. And this is a point of grounding for you. And it's been very important here to have faith with that because Neptune's been squaring up to that position. So faith and trust with everything there. And also faith with, what's going on with your psyche, what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on with spirituality. All of this is very unknown, very nebulous, which is Neptune in the 12th. So going with the flow, letting God guide you, letting the universe guide you has been the key with this. And the more you are willing to tap in that inner guidance, that intuition, then that is facilitating this process of this slow but steady unfoldment of our life path, which is equally as proportionate to going with the flow as it is for working hard. So maybe it's been important to get that meditative time out, that discipline to rest and relax or whatever it might be there. So anyways, those are the two areas, and that starts to lift up, especially around Monday with the Sun and Mercury in that 9th. It's actually quite expansive area for you. The 9th house is about adventure. It's about an adventurous spirit, that overarching life view, although it's serious with Saturn so close to the Sun. But you'll notice that separating, becoming more about the passion there, more about the insight with the Sun as he moves away from Saturn throughout the week. And there's a lot you can really learn about life path in general here. So that's the early part of the week, as well as Mercury trining up to Uranus, which is quite nice. So in terms of the life path, in terms of philosophy, adventure, nature, whatever expands your horizons, could be something new around Tuesday, something exciting, maybe some new information, maybe new interaction, a refreshing new perspective. And it's really coming from you being yourself. So it's a great day to be yourself, as it has been so important with Uranus in your 1st house. Individuality is so important right now. And mixing up that daily routine, maybe even something new and exciting with an existing or new relationship, or with home and family, with family members, something like that. And to the extent depends on your personal chart. But in either case, Tuesday is a good day for mixing up that routine. Now, on Friday, we do have Mercury squaring up to Jupiter. So this is usually quite optimistic. Now, it is involving your ruler. So here, I think naturally you guys could be feeling like there's this pull to really structure your communications, really structure your relationships, structure the home and family stuff. And I think that's a really good thing to listen to because Jupiter, being your ruler, usually it's about possibilities, it's about expansion, it's about going with the flow. And whenever it squares up to a planet, sometimes it goes a little bit too much to the extreme. So watching the extremes of too much of the over, optimism and too much of that over wanting to relax and go with the flow. And when you see this, whatever it is with your relationships, with your career, with the more expansive stuff, philosophical, grounded, make it real, make it constructive. That's what the square is all about. And in that way, then you're really facilitating this process of you learning more about yourself, learning more about your routine, your health, your diet, which has been Jupiter in that 6th house, really about self-improvement, generally speaking. And you could be learning a lot about that as well. Now, over the weekend, the sun does sextile up to Mars, so there is motivation, there's drive, there's intent when it comes to the life path unfolding and the adventurous spirit, which is really high as the later part of the week comes around. Now, the key with this is that there's drives, motivation. It's all about your relationships. It's all about those one-on-one connections, right? And that's inspiring. That's creating motivation and drive. Now, with that, though, Mars is starting to square up to Pluto this weekend going into next week. And this is the transformative element of December. So with this, it's all about being open to change. And here it's all about being open to change in terms of your relationships. And it's usually with self first, primarily changing your perspective on relationships, getting rid of any old belief systems to clear the way for new perspectives, of those one-on-one connections. It could be legal matters for some of you. It could be business dealings, clients, things like that. But generally, your one-on-one connections. So they're changing, and the more open you are to change, the more open you are to clearing out old energies and really seeing things for how they are. It facilitates this process. Okay, and it could also be involving those expansive areas. Your philosophy could be changing quite strongly, as well as maybe in the financial or material stuff that is requiring that deep deep change and restructuring right now, as is usually the case with this aspect. All right, but that's going to be mostly just this weekend. The high point of the week is that veil lifting, a little bit more clarity in terms of the life path, in terms of the more adventurous spirits, as well as some of these, optimistic and exciting things maybe from that 9th house with Mercury squaring Jupiter and the sun. And then later in the weekend, that openness to change then becomes very constructive with these relationships. And as a result, as we go into next week, in the following weeks, we'll notice that there is this rejuvenation, transformation that was much needed in that relationship perspective. And as a result, we're, of course, much better from that, and there is more space in our life. All right, Pisces, so have a great week. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. And if you haven't already done so, do check the 2-for-1 readings that I'm offering between now and the end of December, which you can find on the next page. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.